Hello, 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 my lovelies. Welcome to Monday Night Live for the 14th of November. Here we are in the middle of the month, in the middle of the end of the first quarter of 2022. Don't you love saying that? It's Yvonne here, Monday Night Live. Thank you for watching. If you're watching live or watching the replay, thank you for tuning in. As always, well, I'm Yvonne. I'm the founder and CEO of Women's Fitness Adventures. Tonight on the chat, let me put the chat up, we will have many of our members, I'm sure, and hopefully, or maybe some non-members watching as well. So welcome wherever you're watching from. Please let me know where you're watching from as well. All I can see is I look at this green thing right there and the camera, and I see eyeballs, but it doesn't actually tell me who it is. It doesn't show me where you are. So unless you comment, I can't see you. I can't hear you. You're anonymous to me. So please go ahead and drop a note in the comments where you're watching from, whether you're a member, whether this is your first time, whether you've been watching all along for about the 5 years that we've been doing. At first it was Saturday Night Live, then it moved to Sunday Night Live, then it moved to Monday Night Live. So it's been moving along, but it'll stay at Monday night for quite a while now. So let's see. Hi, Gay. Hi, Kay. Gay, Kay. Hi, Suze. What date is it? Isn't it the 14th today? 14th of March? I think so. I don't know. I kind of got over my US time zone and ended up in, I think it's Brisbane time zone, and that will all change again too. Hi, Kerry. Hi, Karen. Very close nearby. Hi, Mandy. And hi, Cherie. We met this morning at Hikeabout. So lovely to see you there. And I hope you have had a bit of a rest this afternoon. So lots to chat about in the week. I don't know about you, but a week feels like, or a day feels like a week right now. Everything's just coming at me and, you know, whoopsie, bumped the table. So much information to digest, so many emails. You know, if you skip an email and it's a bill or something like that, it's just like crazy stuff. How do we slow this down? So I may have said November, Suze. I don't know. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Alison. Hi, Robin. Haven't had you here for a little while. Hi, Annie from Noosa as well. Hi, Broad. Heaven help that you be anonymous. Hi from Launceston. So Saturday Night Live sounds like a TV show, and it did sound like a TV show for a little while, but then my weekends kept getting messed up and I couldn't make it, which is why we kept switching it to Monday night. Wendy from Victoria, Rosalind from Arthur's Creek, Gwen from Port Macquarie. We are all over the place, and Patricia's in the lineup to board the Spirit of Tasmania, and Patricia's along with 10 of our members are heading off to do the Great Ocean Road hike on Monday, which is very exciting. Hi, Alvina from Brisbane or Queensland. And hi, Alison from Sydney. So lovely to have all of you here, and to everyone who continues to choose to remain anonymous. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comments, things you want to ask that aren't even related to what I'm talking about, let's give it a go. I'll see if I can answer, and if I can't, I'm sure someone there will make it up as well. So very big shout out to anyone across, you know, the east coast of Australia who has been affected in some way by the massive floods and natural disaster that we've had over the past, you know, 2 to 3 weeks, and for some that will continue for a long time. So my hearts and thoughts do go out to all of those who are affected in a big or a small way. And I really admire your, you know, resilience and spirit and ability to, you know, get up and face, you know, such enormous tasks that some of you may have ahead of you. So, you know, let us know that, you know, or letting you know that we're with you in spirit, and, you know, our hearts and thoughts do, you know, not venture far from you every day right now, and as this long process, you know, of rebuilding happens. So thinking of you, if that's you. And I know, yes, some lovely hearts coming out from our members as well. Hi, Jill from Melbourne. Hi, Andrea from Cinema Park. Margaret Gockel, who is all over the place up in Rockhampton. So thank you. This week we said goodbye to Kevin, who works at the Adventure Store. Kevin has been there. We've been around for 8 years as Women's Fitness Adventures, and Kevin has been at the store, a very strong advocate for us at Women's Fitness Adventures, and he has been our go-to person at the Adventure Store for advice, for knowledge, for I guess, promoting us as well to the wider female community of Brisbane. And so it was with a lot of sadness that we said goodbye to Kevin, who was leaving the store and moving on to a completely different area. We said goodbye to Kevin last Wednesday night. And afterwards, Jane and I and Lucy caught up for a drink with Kevin. And Kevin asked me my backstory for Women's Fitness Adventures. And some of you may or may not know the story. And I'll shed a different light on the story this time, coming at it from how I told Kevin. And some of you may have heard me say it in a different way, but the same sort of story. But when you get to a point in your life, and if this is you, no, not Kevin. Yes, Kevin has gone. And hi, Sue from Geelong. Kevin has departed for, a new career in renewable energy. So that's a great thing for the planet, great thing for Kevin. And he will still continue hiking, but we won't see him at the store. But when you get to a certain point in your life, and please comment if you agree or disagree or have a different, situation for you, the kids might have grown up, finished school, they have their own life. They still want you around, but they don't really want a lot to do with you unless you're paying for them to go somewhere with you. And you kind of find yourself at this point where, well, what do I do now? Or, when you want to do something and your partner doesn't want to do the same things as you, which is fine. And it's wonderful to have different interests. Or, when you're looking for something, and I know, Margaret, this was your story, you were coming up to retirement, although that's a 2-year ago story, coming up to retirement and just looking for something different. And, we're all willing and able to volunteer our time and our energy. And we're all happily to go catch up with friends for coffee and maybe go shopping and stuff. But we don't want that to be the whole thing, that there's a little bit more to it. And, when you want time for you, I'm going to grab something, when you want time for you, but you don't really know what that time is, or, you think there, and Cherie, we were chatting about this today as well, that, when you have been giving to others for such a long time and popping ourselves, rightly so in most circumstances, to the bottom of the line, or probably bottom's not the right word, but to the back of the line. And when you think it's time for me, or, when you've tried a whole lot of things and your commitment's not there, you might try the gym for a while, and you might try, this and that, and you're looking for friendship, you're looking for something new, for fitness as well, and you just can't find it. So that, the start of Women's Fitness Adventures was those whole when moments. And, when you wait, here it is again, everyone loved this last week, you wait for the ducks to line up. And this one says, this was from my conference last week, don't wait until you have all your ducks in a row. Start with just one duck. I think that's such a gorgeous duck. So my story was it started a long time ago. What am I, 55? It started when I was 15. So 40 years ago, this year, actually. Gosh, that's scary. I moved school. Mum and Dad moved from Brisbane to this little known town called Noosa when I was 15 years old in 1981. And I remember, going to high school for the first day at Noosa. It wasn't anything like it looks now. It was a very sleepy little town. There was one high school. It was up on the top of the range at Karoi. You had to catch a bus every day. There were 14 buses a day that would go up to the range. And I was quite excited because I thought, I'm in a new school. It's a great thing going to a new school. Everyone gets excited about the new kid. That was my thinking, but boy, was I wrong, because so many people at that time in the 80s were moving to Noosa that new kids were just like, oh gosh, there's another one. And I remember the first couple of days feeling pretty lonely and pretty isolated at school. I didn't know my way around the school. I didn't, my bigger sister wasn't there, and I don't know whether my younger sister had started at the school yet. I can't remember. And I remember, sitting there at lunchtime thinking, oh gosh, where is everybody? How do I know anyone? And not finding myself a comfortable group for a couple of days. And I'm like, oh, this is not right. Anyway, I found a group after a couple of days. It wasn't a great start. And, that lasted a couple of months. And then these new kids kept coming to the school, new girls my age, and they're in exactly the same position as me. And I went, you know what? I don't want that to happen to any other girl of my age. So let me collect these girls. Let me look after them, give them a bit of an orientation into the school and find them and let them settle into whatever their tribe might be. So that was 40 years ago. And I didn't think anything of it. It was just something I did to make others feel comfortable, because I had felt uncomfortable at that time as well. I don't know if anyone else has ever had to move schools and feel that way, but if you have, I'd love to hear your comments. And then I moved to Sydney. I went to uni, got a job and got transferred to Sydney with my job, and I didn't know anyone in Sydney at all. So I decided to create a girls' lunch club once a Sunday. Exactly the same thing, to find new friends, to create this wonderful, amazing group of, clever, intelligent women that I could have conversations with, that I could do, different things with, and create and build my own network. Then I moved back to Brisbane many years later, and all my friends had moved away, so I didn't have any friends. So I decided that I would try something new. And this time I thought I'll try not collecting, schoolgirls. I would try, stupidly, some of you have heard this story, water polo kayak. So it's where you're in a kayak, a single kayak, and you're playing water polo. And the first day I rocked up, and I was all on my own, and these people said, yes, the die was cast very early there, Rosalind. I might just share that. So I showed up at this water polo kayak thing, and I was all, maybe, what would I be, about 24. And they said to me, here you go. I like swimming, but I would say I'm a fair swimmer. And they said, here you go, get in this kayak, and we want you to do Eskimo rolls for an hour. So me just doing what I'm told, I'm very good at following rules and doing what I'm told. I just did these Eskimo rolls where you literally tip the kayak upside down and come back up again and roll it like you're rolling it. And I did that for a whole hour, and I filled up with water. And I remember coming home and saying to my sister, who I was living with at the time, I said, you're not going to believe what I've just done for the hour. And I could not move the next day because it all happens through the torso. I could not move. I literally, every single part of my body ached. But I had met this girl. I still had to travel back and forth to Sydney, and I met this girl on the plane, and I said to her, please come with me. She was my age. She had just moved to Brisbane as well. And her and I went along, and they made her and I do the same thing again. And we both looked at each other afterwards and said, no, this is just not right. We're not having fun. This is not about conversation. This is not about, fitness in the spirit of us wanting fitness. So we just ditched that idea and then kind of went on our merry way. But it wasn't, then I kind of just left it and didn't gather any women, didn't, create my own tribe. I found tribes that I belonged to. And then, of course, I got married, had kids, and it wasn't really till I, had the kids and the kids started moving through school that I really looked and went, well, who are my friends? Are they the friends of my kids? Are they the parents of my kids' friends? Are they my friends? What interests do we have in common? And when I had the kids and they were starting to grow up, I bought a gym and became a personal trainer, and then became the marketing director for this global women's gym. And it was women over 50. And I saw that as women over 50, we were looking for our tribe. We were looking for, as well as fitness, we were looking for amazing conversations. And it was from that Women's Fitness Adventures was born, because we were all trying to get fit. We all wanted to look good, but we never knew if we arrived. And we also felt that as over 50s, well, I wasn't at the time, but, the majority of the people at the gym was that we weren't being listened to, and that we had such value and such richness and such energy and wisdom to give, but we weren't being listened to. And then, my corporate job with them came to an end, and I just decided to go on a walk. And that's our very first adventure, the Great Ocean Road hike in Melbourne, which was in May of 2014. So this year when we go back, it's 8 years to the actual day that we go on that hike. So I guess for me, it's always been about creating my tribe, about looking out for women. And, it's very hard to just go up to random strangers and make friends. And I think as we get older and we become more established in the routines and the habits that we have, to break out into different circles and try new things, because we all have this great fear of feeling that we don't know how to do it, that we're going to fail, that we should know how to do something before we even try. And right now we're taking applications for our Couch to Mountain program for 2022. And there's an amazing amount, there's a lot of applications, which is fantastic, an amazing amount of wonderful stories in there. And Sue, Gwen and Mandy, when you came on, if you're watching, when you came on those couple of weeks ago, have provided such inspiration for so many women, because your attitude, and I can't remember which one of you said it, was that I think it might have been you, Gwen, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this for me. And that has inspired so many women to think, well, I don't know the answer. I don't know if all my ducks are lined up, but I know the first duck is there. And if the first duck's there, then the second duck will probably show up as well. And so that's kind of the whole philosophy of what we do, and we do it all without judgment, and that's coming through certainly in a lot of the applications. So when when Kevin asked me that, I'm not sure he really wanted to know that whole backstory, but he said that he could sense that from everyone that he had spoken to, every member of Women's Fitness Adventures, even our members who don't live in Brisbane. Rosalind, he mentioned you, that ring up on the phone, and just your kindness, your patience, your understanding, your willingness to ask questions if you don't know, really sets us apart from a lot of other communities out there, because we are, in his words, so kind, so giving, and I guess non-judgmental in so many ways. So let me just check these comments. So Rosalind says, great achievement. Paddlers need to learn to Eskimo roll before commencing in kayaking for safety. Absolutely. But Rosalind, this was in a swimming pool, so I wasn't actually going anywhere, and I doubt they would have put me on the team either. Let me check in with Ellen. In the past 3 or 4 years, a small group of us who went to school together have begun to catch up, either in person or online. I think it's our shared experience growing up that created the connection. It's a bit like a tribe based on very similar childhood experiences, I think. Absolutely. And it's really finding and digging deep for that connection that will hold you together for a long time. And Patricia says, for Mandy, Gwen and Sue, that your talk really did inspire her. The three of you are amazing. Sue says, so we're on the theme, if you've just jumped in, about finding your tribe. Finding her tribe, Women's Fitness Adventures, has changed my life. And I have a network of beautiful friends, and my fitness has improved so much that I can do things that I could never have believed. Absolutely. And Sue's your testament to, our whole ethos of showing up. Consistency over time, showing up equals results every single time. Let me see. Oh, yeah, Kevin was great. He remembered me from my last order. Yeah, he is. He's just amazing. And that's where you start the swimming pool. I got in a kayak but didn't progress to Eskimo rolls. And Rosalind, if I had known that, I would not have done that either. So absolutely. So that was kind of my story to Kevin. And I guess that's why Kevin was such an advocate for us, because he could see that, through every single action that we did, each of us did, not just me, I just hold the boat together, we're inspiring and encouraging each other, and all without judgment. And I think that's so important, this whole without judgment, in a world that is just willing to judge without knowledge, without background, without, sight unseen. To have that judgment without knowledge is judgment without, just no judgment, sorry, is such an amazing thing. Lots of dittos going on there. So, Suze, I think you encapsulated that pretty well. Last week, I in my sleep-deprived days, I put up that little thing about the billboard I saw coming of Women Without Limits. Oh, my goodness, you guys have taken that and run with it. And I've had people asking me when the clothing range is coming out, where I'm going to take Women Without Limits. What does that mean? And literally, I haven't had a chance to do anything. I'd love your comments on what you think that means to you. But clearly that's hit a chord. So I've actually gone and registered the domain name, which is pretty great. But that's hit a chord that somewhere inside we feel that we know that we are women with amazing things to share and to talents and everything, and that we can do that without limits. And whether those limits are imposed externally or self-imposed, to live our life without limits, without jumping over the hurdles and the baggage that we might or someone else might put in front of us, is an amazing thing. Yes, that's right. He didn't. And yeah, I'll fill you in on that backstory, Rosalind, when I talk to you next time. And let's see, Jill says, I love the philosophy of this group, which is what drew me to it originally. I just have trouble locking into the next step of getting involved, both socially, hard at a distance, and logistically or physically staying motivated, or perhaps more so just procrastinating. But determined to try. I'm still also very flat out with work commitments, despite turning 60 a couple of weeks ago. And Jill, I think that Trisha might have been speaking to you about the very answer to that one today, or about an adventure coming up. But yeah, it is hard to get involved at a distance and to stay motivated. And I just want to touch on that for a moment, because we are now a global organisation at Women's Fitness Adventures, which is wonderful. And that came about during COVID, which was, I guess we were always planning that, but it was, COVID just hurried it along. And we can connect from wherever we live. And we have the opportunity through our Zoom Active and through Mandy's on here, our pilot or our ambassador program, which is rolling out with a pilot in South Australia, to be able to connect socially for wherever we live. Jill, share with us where you are as well. But just on the motivation thing, no one can stay motivated the whole time, but the motivation bus won't come along. We have to find the thing that will motivate us. And we can sit, a couple of years ago during the height of COVID, my husband and I went bike riding on an old rail trail, and I saw the station and I sat at the station. The train wasn't coming. The tracks had been pulled up. And I thought, this is like waiting for motivation to come. I've got everything around me, and I'm waiting and the train isn't going to come. And it's just like motivation. The motivation isn't going to come. We have to find it and, perhaps work out the reasons why we're not motivated. Ditch out all those things of, I'm not motivated because I couldn't be bothered because, or, the work-life balance. And Jill, I really encourage you to reach out to Mandy inside the Facebook group and have a chat about the work-life balance, because Mandy, that's where Mandy was when she jumped into the Couch to Mountain program and flipped that right over. So that Women Without Limits has taken off. I also want to give a big shout out to our members this week who jumped in for the core challenge, which was the fruit challenge over 5 days. Your food styling of fruit is amazing. Having worked in advertising and marketing and food styling for, many years in my youth, you guys have really, I know cameras have come a long way, but you guys really knew how to put it all in the picture. That's quite amazing. I want to talk a little bit about life cycle and, I guess, ecosystems. And one of the new adventures that has just been added to our website today is a wildlife, one of many wildlife sanctuaries around the world, and its own ecosystem, because it is so biodiverse. And that got me thinking about, and that one's called Sadler Springs. So it backs onto Carnarvon Gorge. It's private property out in Western Queensland. We've called it the Wild West because it is a little bit wild. And yeah, I'm just going to jump in here. Annette says she's still working on the work-life balance, but having a tribe helps. Yeah. And Wendy loves the train station to nowhere remotivation. Yeah, it's a good analogy, really good analogy. So I just want to talk about trying to get just out of my system. I'm going to talk about the life cycle and when we belong to anything, why we belong to something. And it's the basis of what all movies are based on as well, the whole theme or the premise of it. And I'll just check in with Colette. Colette says, when you're walking with others, even when you're not motivated, you still go so as not to let others down. Once you go, you feel better and again motivated. And that's that whole, thank you for sharing that, Colette. That's that whole cycle there of we start to get stronger and then we get stronger because we started, and it just, it might only start like this tiny little thing and eventually it gets bigger because we like the feeling of what it gives us. Sue, she's now based in an apartment in Melbourne City, but should have done more with my time living in Apollo Bay for 15 months during lockdown. So Jill, there's quite a lot of members in Melbourne. So just hook in with them, they'll catch up with you there. So the life cycle of anything, and as I said, of movies as well, is it's called The Hero's Journey by I think he's a philosopher called Joseph Campbell, and you can look it up. And he studied all these tribes all around the world, and what just the life cycle of the tribe and why people belonged to tribes and why they were outcast from tribes. And then George Lucas, who did the Star Wars movie, he based Star Wars on this theory. And now most movies, it's not a theory, it's an actual thing. Most movies are based on this. So the hero comes in to whatever situation feeling, that there's something missing. And, that could be friendship, it could be skills, it could be fitness, it could be anything, just looking for that something. Yeah, so Sandra knows Joseph Campbell, so loves Joseph Campbell. And then it finds that something. And when they find that something, they learn, they grow, they become part of a community. But they're kind of still on that, what am I missing? And they get to a low point. So, Luke Skywalker gets to this low point, or any action hero or any heroine gets to the low point in their journey, and they find the solution. So perhaps if you are looking for new friendships, you find the right group. If you're looking for fitness, you find the right, whether it's your gym, your Pilates, your walking, whatever that right structure is for you, you find that. Then you become a bit like, as you said, Colette, that cycle. You then become the advocate. When you become the advocate for what works for you and you give back to that community, it makes such a big difference, because to reinvest in what you've learned, to teach and to recycle that back in the sphere of it all, is when you know that you've truly come full circle. So that's kind of the life cycle of how I see your tribe and your community embracing you. And at any point in time, you can spit out of that because you've lost connection to why you started in the first place. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if it makes sense. And for those of you who know Joseph Campbell, you might want to go, she's got no idea what she's talking about, or that's spot on. But, take a look, because it is, quite profound. He's mapped it over so many tribes that it really is, you start here, you kind of lose your way, you find your way, and you become an advocate, and you bring others who need to find the same thing that you're looking for, and loop it all together. Jane and I were having a chat this morning. Thanks, Suze. Having a chat this morning about, Gay, your comment that you popped in the Facebook group yesterday, how you went hiking and you bumped into this lady, and this lady was going on a hike with someone else, and they had said to her that it was for young people, generally young people. And Jane and I were chatting about that today, and how the importance of finding a tribe for anything is so important, because it's around having conversations. So on particular adventures, especially if they're multi-day adventures and you go away, you want to make sure, yes, you're physically capable of doing the hike, but at night, or when the hike is over, or you're on the transport or wherever it might be, that you actually can have real connections and real conversations with people that get you and that understand you. And if I take my kids on an adventure, then they don't want to talk about the same things that I want to talk about. We were talking about this, my sister and I, with TV shows, and one show that we both love, but her 20-something kids don't watch, because they don't have that lived and life experience that the show is actually talking about. And it's the same thing when I, from my own experience, go on a multi-day adventure or connect into some group. I want the people that are going to get me. I want to feel that my contribution is valued, that I am comfortable and okay to ask the questions that I don't know. Believe me, I ask lots of questions. Just ask Cherie from this morning. I do ask hundreds of questions, especially when I meet someone new, because your life is interesting. And that, it's not just about when you go somewhere or belong to something. It's not just about the one thing that you have bought into that for. Like when you buy a nail, and a hammer, you're not buying a nail and a hammer. You're actually buying a hole in the wall, or you're buying something fixed. So it's the actual outcome that you're buying into. So Rosalind says, yes, she gets what I was saying. The investment comes back to you tenfold. Not sure if that makes sense, but it does, Rosalind. When you find what you're looking for and you have those skills and it works for you, and you teach and you invest and you give those skills back, it does come back to you. It really does. Cherie, you asked a lot of questions too. Okay, so we were talking a lot, so that's all good. But so the point of that conversation is the real value in your tribe is when you feel that you are connected to that community and that you're teaching and inspiring knowingly or unknowingly others. And when we give more than we take, it gets reciprocated. And I think, Rosalind, that's what you were trying to say there. And that's where the real value of you and the real value of your investment of time, energy, money, whatever it might be, is doubling down for gold. I have been talking for a while and I didn't even have an agenda tonight. So there you go. And if there is anything you want me to talk about on a Monday Night Live, please let me know. I want to share that I've added, let me just check in with Suze. We've found that people always ask us what we're doing and who we are with. I've shared info re Women's Fitness Adventures to a few ladies, and who knows how that will pan out. Absolutely. And I guess, for some people, it's a lot like waiting for all the ducks to line up. And we were chatting just yesterday because our international adventures that have been suspended for a couple of years are back on. So we're heading off to Iceland and Tuscany this year. You don't know what's around the corner. So, embrace everything. And I'm just going to digress for a little story today. I was driving along to some hiking yesterday through Brisbane City. The expressway hangs out over the river right through the CBD. And the army tanks and the army trucks are coming in. And they're coming in to help Brisbane clean up from the floods. There's a lot of mess, but they're doing a fantastic job and they're doing it really quickly and they're cleaning it up really quickly. And to me, the army coming at me represented safety, it represented help, and it represented support. Put me in another location, I would not have even been able to drive through my city, and those tanks coming at me would have represented fear, fight, flight. And it made me shiver. It sent a few chills through my spine thinking, lottery of life being born here in Australia. But we just don't know what tomorrow brings. So to make the most, opportunity is all around us. It's whether we want to take it or not. Have you ever said to yourself, wouldn't it be great if someone invented such and such? And the difference between saying it and doing it is that opportunity. So let me see. What does Ellen say? The strength of our connection to Women's Fitness Adventures is the absolute acceptance of diversity among the members and backgrounds. It's a fun and supportive group. That to me is why I'm in the tribe. Oh, that's beautiful, Ellen. Thank you for sharing that. And Jennifer says the tribe is always very supportive and non-judgmental. Yep. And hi, Alison, just joined. Excellent. So I added a couple of adventures this week. We have our next core challenge starting towards the end of the week, which is on core exercises. So look out for those details in another day or so. And it's for 5 days that we're doing that one. And we added a couple of adventures this week as well. And so Sadler Springs is our Wild West one. That's in June. That's on the website now in Queensland. Karijini in Western Australia and Ningaloo Reef has 4 spots left. That's going in May. Outback Queensland has Carnarvon Gorge and the Sandstone Ranges has 1 spot left. That's in August. Mount Moffat next month, not far away, has 3. And Couchton Mountain, which has had an amazing response. I'll just put the link up here. No, it's not there. Can't send it to you. I'll drop it in there. Couchton Mountain has had a lot of applications and that will close in a couple of weeks. If you're wanting to do that for 2022, please jump on and apply. We did have to, I started at the beginning with the floods and we did have to cancel a couple of adventures, our Euro Gear Coastal Hike for March and June. We've had to suspend. The trail is closed. They cannot give us an indication other than the back half of this year that it will reopen again. It is in that whole Northern Rivers of New South Wales, which has been very badly affected and, sadly some loss of life there. So, fixing a trail's probably not high on the priority and rightly so. But rest assured, if you are on that, as soon as we can reschedule some dates for that second half of the year, you'll be the first to know and have the option if that works for you at that time. But having said that, means I'm not away. So next week, look out for it. We'll put the functional fitness back on for Thursday so that you don't have to miss out on Thursday or Monday Night Live, because I will be here. So that is it from me for tonight. If you love what we do, and I think most of you on here are members, I know that you're our biggest supporters, and as we are a big supporter of you and everything that you do as well. And it is amazing and so special for us as leaders, Jane, Trisha and I, in in head office, to see the impact, the positive impact that you all have on each other and that you have on your own life, and the ripple effect that carries out to everything that you do. So we really thank you for being part of that journey, or for letting us be part of your journey. And if you're not a member, then jump onto our website, womensfitnessadventures.com, and join membership. The homepage will be changing soon. I'm just trying to find that. The homepage will be changing soon, so it might confuse everyone, but it will make a lot of sense when it changes, so we'll let you know in advance. So that's it from me for tonight, unless there's any other comments. Cherie just says she found everyone very friendly and supportive, being the only new lady today. Yes, and it's always lovely to have new members along. So thank you, everyone. I look forward to catching up with you next week. As I said, if there's anything you want in particular covered on Monday Night Live, from hiking skills to questions you have about anything, or special guests that you want, please let me know. Otherwise, I will catch you next week. Thanks for that. Bye.